Record.
Okay, translators, there is your official clap. Dripping Springs. I just, there's just a great visual that goes with that. I almost want to move from Houston to Dripping Springs just so I can tell people I'm from Dripping Springs. And that's the way I would say it. I'd be like, I'm from Dripping Springs. Okay, anyway, hi, welcome to the, biggest element of trauma and drama since, I don't know, World War II or something. Nice to be with you all. What I want to say is we are doing our best to have your back and contribute to you, number one. Thank you for translating that in real time. Very much appreciated. But if you could mute yourself, that would be even better. So if you're translating
hey, Dain,
into some foreign language I don't understand.
Dain, I'm gonna make
Yes?
you co-host real quick, and I'm gonna mute everyone real quick. Is that okay? So you have to unmute yourself. I'm gonna mute everyone. Okay, coolio. So
it's like, did that remind anybody of an 80s music video? Remember those days? Okay. Anyway, I feel so proud to be the co-host. My name is international best-selling author, highly emotionally intelligent, tech intern princess, Dr. Dain here, and I'm so proud to be with you today. Hi, from the hills of San Francisco. For those of you that weren't on before, I just want to show you something that we've solved a mystery. How does San Francisco get all of those clouds, and why is there so much water vapor? I will show you. Hold on. Wait. That's how it happens. Okay, I know some of you are not nearly as happy as I am today, but you know what? It's your own damn fault. Get the fuck over it. You need to be happy to change the world, asshole. Meme. Okay, everything that brought up, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, girls. I'm so happy. Yay! Woohoo! Cool. So there's a lot going on in the world, obviously, okay? And you have a choice, and this is really what I want to talk to you about more than anything else is your choice. And I've been doing this 14-day program. We're on day 9 so far. It's 14 days for $14. Please get it, because what I've been doing is walking people through a different way of being while all this crap is going on around us. Because now more than ever is actually a chance that you have to make a different choice where you go, no, this is the reality I'm having. Everybody else is over here, even though you can't see my hands. Everybody else is over here doing their trauma and drama. I'm going to be over here creating. And if you choose, you have the ability to come out of this far, 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 far greater than you went into it. Okay. And a lot of people are saying on the chat, it's been amazing. And I agree. And thank you guys. And thank you for being part of it. It is 365 days. Oh, you have no idea how hard it's been to manage 9 days so far of actually getting on every day. I'm so humanoid. It's like, I'm like, well, and then I'm like, oh, I got the Zoom. Ah. Anyway, or the Facebook Live, I should say. But what is so evident to me right now is something that I would really like you to get, which is your point of view creates your reality. So if your point of view about this thing is buying everybody else's point of view, if your point of view is not yours, you are going to suffer like a motherfucker, okay? Because let's look at this. People are afraid of dying. Well, I don't understand why they're afraid of dying, because they're so fucking unhappy. Why are they alive anyway? Those are always the people that are like, oh my God, don't get near me. And they wrap themselves in plastic wrap before they go outside and put a mask on. And it's like, but you're the person who's so unhappy. Why are you alive anyway? But anyway, that's welcome to this reality, okay? Those are always the one who are like, I don't want to die. And I'm like, you're already dead. Haven't you noticed? Anyway, that's a story for another time. If you do not choose to create your reality during this time, you're going to suffer miserably. And anywhere you are suffering miserably. Yes.
Thank you.
This is the correct Zoom. Okay. I kind of would like a little bit of the, stuff I was saying on the next recording, but basically what I was saying
I will cut it out. No, I will cut it
Okay.
out, Dain. You don't have to start over. I'm going to take whatever was in the other meeting and we'll put them together.
Okay, cool. So this is a time where you've actually got to create what you would like as your reality. And this time in the world, it's like somebody pressed pause on the earth And I don't know if you've seen all the things where wild animals are now in cities and all kinds of different places because the humans have stopped for a week or two or a month or whatever it is. It's amazing the gift that this actually is. But remember, your point of view creates your reality. Reality does not create your point of view. So what you have to get to is, what is the gift in this for me? And guys, please, will somebody post the thing for the 14 days if you haven't heard about it? Because it is, you know, I've been going in there for a half an hour to 40 minutes to 50 minutes every day for the last 14 days. So I can't repeat it all here. And there's a lot of invitations, processes, etc. And it's $14 until the program is over, and then it's going to be more like 1,400. So get it now. And it's not, I mean, $14, okay? If you can't afford $14, email me and I will get it to you. Because if you're in the place where $14 seems like a lot of money right now, you need to change something, okay? Because that's not how you deserve to live. And we recognize that, we acknowledge that. And this really is a time though where the world is stressing out so much, but you have different choices, you have different possibilities, okay? It's like, and you have a totally different way of that you can navigate your life and your business, but you have to choose that. And this is one of those things where it's like, you know what they say about steel? It's like the steel that goes through the most intense fire is the strongest steel. Well, there's this intense fire in the world right now based on this reality is trying to be like, oh, you can't even see it. Okay. And it's getting really friggin' intense and being as intense as it can. And so, as I was saying before, you've got a choice. You can live over here as the effect of it, or you can go, I've got access to access, something that nobody else on the planet, not nobody else, but so few other people on the planet have. They're living as though this is real for them. And they're trying to figure out, how do I deal with this? Well, rather than how do I deal with this, what you want to be is over here where you're like, how's this reality going to deal with me? And it's a choice that you have, but you've got to make the choice. And you can sit and do trauma and drama, and you can be pissed off about people not contributing to you, and you can be upset about what Access is trying to do to try to handle things and make it work for everybody. Or you can go, okay, the people that are suggesting changes to different things are actually looking at what will create the most for everybody and honor everybody in our classes and honor us as facilitators. One of the things that we've seen with a lot of bars facilitators is their constant point of view seems to be, give me more, give me more, give me more. You haven't done enough for me. Let me tell you something, okay? Let me tell you the way it actually works energetically. The people that always complain about not being contributed to are the people that are not a contribution, okay? The people that are truly a contribution never complain about not being contributed to. They always look for, okay, how can we change this? How can we make this greater for everybody? Our point of view as Access is, how do we change this? How do we make it greater for everybody? And we each have our own situations in our lives. You got your own stuff going on. We understand that. We're not trying to make it difficult for you. We're trying to support you and give you ways of making this stuff actually work. So everything that is times a godzillion, we just run and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Hold on, I need to respond to something here really quickly. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. That's my typing face. That probably shouldn't be seen in public, but oh well, okay. Okay, and so what we're looking at doing is, we've got a worldwide business. We're in 176 countries around the world. We need to look at what's going to work based on all the stuff that this reality is saying we need to function from. And at the same time, what we know we would like to bring and find a way to make it work to the best of our ability. And so what I wanted to come on and say is, yeah, I love it. So in other words, we got to step the fuck up. Yes, exactly. Okay. And how do we change this? How do we make this greater for everybody? Yep, that is exactly our point of view. And so if you can recognize that this thing is way bigger, there's so many aspects of what's going on in the world, and then also how we can navigate through it. And we're trying our best as new things come up to have that work for everybody around the world, and all the facilitators around the world, the bars facilitators, the certified facilitators, the body process facilitators, the facelift facilitators, the being you facilitators, the joy business facilitators. We got a lot of facilitators, okay? We got a lot of people doing a lot of stuff, which is friggin' awesome. But what I'd like you to start looking at is, what tools and what awareness do you have that nobody else does? That if you start living that and then being that in the world, will make people see you as a valuable product, okay? Because it's one thing to have these tools available and not actually use them, okay? It's one thing to know, who does this belong to? It's a whole other thing to live from that awareness. It's one thing to know, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. It's a whole other thing to be interesting point of view. And from my interesting point of view, it's time for us to truly be interesting point of view, to truly use, who does this belong to? In fact, I would start it for another 3 days if I were you. And we've got it in more languages now, being released in the next few days. But I would get that app and use it and be reminded of it, because there's never been a better time to ask, who does this belong to? As everybody else is going into their trauma and drama. And what I'm saying is, you have a capacity to go beyond it. You have a capacity to live from a lightness that most people on this planet don't know can exist. They don't even have a clue that it could actually exist, that it could actually be possible. And I will say, if you can be light and find a way in your own world to get to the lightness that is you as a being right now, you will never, ever lose it again. And you will be positioned for any other drama and trauma and bullshit that comes up in the world to not only survive, but thrive. What if right now you could choose to thrive instead of worrying about whether you're going to survive? Everything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and create it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Wow, that's cool. Gary said this last night. It was so light. Thank you, Rachel. Ooh, that went away. Bye-bye. Gary said this last night. Bye-bye. When you instill fear, there's always a backlash and a consequence. People will reach now more than ever. Yeah, and this reality is doing everything it can to instill fear. And this whole corona thing, it's a virus that kills far fewer people than starvation does every single day, but nobody is addressing that. It's something that kills far fewer people and the planet far less than, let's see, climate change, but nobody's making that an emergency. It's something that kills far fewer people than normal influenza. Okay, somebody is not muted. Okay, but here it is, it's become this global pandemic and everybody's worried about dying and all this shit. And it's like, it hasn't killed nearly enough people for us to worry like that. Now, if it were Ebola and it were transmitted that way, I could understand people, freaking out a bit. You know what I'm saying? By the way, did you hear Corona changed its name because it didn't want to be associated with the virus anymore? Corona beer, which, oh, can you see it? There it is. It's my personal antidote to the virus. I figure 6 of these a day and I will never get sick. Plus I'll be happy all the way through. But yeah, apparently Corona changed its name to Ebola, so it wasn't associated with this pandemic. So, you could drink Ebola beer from now on if you wanted to. And you'll notice a lot of people making light of this online, and some people take it a little far, but the idea is we get to choose. We get to choose, and basically your choice is this: am I going to be in action or am I going to be in reaction? Because when you're in reaction, you're in that thing of resistance and reaction, which is not interesting point of view. Before you get to reaction, you have to have done alignment and agreement, which makes something real for you that is seen. So it makes it real for you that this is real, and then you react to it. So my question is, what beyond this reality choices do you have are possible for you that you think are not possible, that if you allowed those possibilities would actualize a different reality. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So what beyond this reality choices are possible for you that you think are not possible, that if you allowed the possibilities would actualize a different reality. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Oh,
Hey,
that's
Dain.
a fucking great way. I just want to read this and then go to you. Janet said, focus right now on helping first responders. Teach them bars possibility, not that they want to be practitioners, but to get an awareness of it. And if you could do that, what a gift. And we have that bars thing, not for people who want to become bars practitioners, but for people who want to learn bars like first responders. We have that little book that's available. Shit, that would be awesome. Anyway, yes.
Hey, it's Sylvia. And
Hi, Sylvia.
Hi. Oh no, but I'm covered up for this. So, so I just wanted to say these tools. I just want to say for anybody that wonders if these tools work. So currently, I decided to choose to work at Whole Foods, the grocery store, and it really makes it so fun to use these tools amidst the chaos. Even though there are points where I buy this shit, like I've been using. All the interesting point of view, and it really does change it, and it permeates the space around me. And so I'm doing a shout out for the 14-day program. I'm so fucking grateful these tools are out there. So that it's just like a shout out, because
Awesome.
it really fucking changes the energy and the energy of the people around me. And then the people that don't choose it, it's like, whatever, just let them be. But
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Awesome. And really, fuck yes. And it really is. It's interesting point of view. And the thing is, when people don't choose it, it's like, this is where you really get to be interesting point of view. And how does it work? Well, you look at it and you're like, this drama is insane. I don't want to have this shit as my life. Fuck that. And then you see all kinds of people who do desire to have it as their lives. Well, okay, so let's talk about caring and interesting point of view together for a moment. True caring is being interesting point of view with whatever anybody else chooses. Actually, whatever anybody chooses, which includes you, okay? True caring is actually like, oh, okay, because you got to get, they don't have the same reality you do. They haven't walked the same journey you have. They're not in the place where getting over the drama is remotely real to them as a possibility. And so you look at them and you're like, and so what you do when somebody else around you, especially somebody you are close to, which is interesting, because would an infinite being not be close to everybody? This has always been perplexing to me. But anyway, especially somebody you're quote unquote close to. You can't even see my air quotes. There. Okay, especially somebody you're close to. What happens is when you see them choosing suffering or choosing drama or choosing to align and agree with this world over here, that's where it really tends to stick us a lot. That's where you want to use interesting point of view. Get the energy of all the shit it brings up and just go, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view, and it usually changes each time. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Until you have no more stuck or charged point of view. And then you truly are being interesting point of view. Interesting point of view is the greatest caring that you can be, okay? And we think if we're not jumping into their drama, then we're somehow not caring for them. No, it's when we're outside of their drama that we're actually caring for them. So everything you've done to jump into the drama of a lot of people around you, and I mean a lot of people around you, not just the people you think you're close to, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. I want to do, well, I want to read two of the comments here. Somebody said, wow, in this period, I bought a home. I just sold my house with so much ease. There's so much ease and joy. I'm thankful for this period, even if other people are not. This is, thank you for that. Because this, even just hearing that can be really helpful to us, because if we're buying that we need to be over here in the drama, and then we see somebody who's like us, a facilitator like us, bars or whatever, who's willing to go, hey, I'm really grateful for this period and wonderful things are happening. You're like, oh my God, that's actually possible. And what you don't realize is you are that invitation and that contribution for other people by being that difference, but you don't have to shove it down anybody's throat. You just be it. Remember, you don't have to tell anyone, okay? Please recognize this. You don't have to tell anyone. You don't have to change anyone. It's not up to you to change them. It's up to them to change them. And one of the great gifts that we can get from this is exactly that, our willingness to be an allowance, even when people are choosing things that seem hurtful to them or increase the drama in their lives or make them suffer. That's one of the toughest places to be interesting point of view, but it tempers that steel that we are. You know, the steel that has been in the hottest of fires is the strongest. Let's just paraphrase it that way. Well, this is a really hot fire, okay? And I'm not minimizing it. A lot of people also just try to go, oh, well, it doesn't matter because it just doesn't matter because, and those are the people that always just sort of try to shove everything out there anyway. What I'm talking about is different. I'm talking about being present with all of it, like totally friggin' present with all of it, and acknowledging that, okay, I can be present. I don't have to go into the drama. Not, I'm going to throw it out here, you know, I'm going to shove it out into the world. So also everything you've done to, for everything that you can't deal with, everything you've decided you can't deal with, and everything you've shoved into this thing called the exoskeleton that you've decided you can't deal with until such time as you'll be able to deal with it, which never comes. So it's always sitting out there and it feels like it keeps broadcasting that energy at you. Will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. There's one other thing I want to do with you, but I want to read this also. Heather posted the X-Men facilitators are doing 30 days of Who Does This Belong To right now on this public page. It's facebook.com/access X-Men. That might be a really cool thing to jump on. So cool. Yay. Awesome. Okay, so one other thing I want to do with you, which is something I did yesterday with the 14-day peoples. What I'd like you to do is, this is another use of presence, interesting point of view, and the recognition that nothing is bigger than you, okay? Because one of the you've all read the 10 Commandments by now, okay? And what is number one? Would an infinite being truly choose this? You gotta get, this is the time to find out what an infinite being would choose, so you can choose like an infinite being. You've got the choice. And here's the weird part is you have the choice. You can either choose to be a finite being because it feels so real, but feelings are one of the greatest limitations we have, because every feeling is a limitation of perceiving. So every time you go, I feel stuck, I feel yuck, I feel fucked up, I feel all these energies, what you want to do is you want to stop, puck and pot all that shit, and then go, what am I perceiving that I'm not acknowledging? Every single thing you say is a feeling, whether it's stuck or messed up or poor or worried or whatever, is a perception you're not willing to have, okay? Which is, so what you do is every time you go to say I feel, you stop and you can pock and pod, but then you go, what perception am I having that I'm unwilling to have? Okay, so that's one thing. Now, the thing that I did with the 14-day group yesterday, 14-day group, that had a weird, anyway, what I'd like you to do is, I'd like you to get the energy of all the stuff you've been avoiding, okay? You can probably get that a little easier than you wanted to, because it's all that shit that you've been trying to shove out here as a way of dealing with it, okay? I'd like you to get it. I'd like you to put it all in front of you, all of it. Don't leave any of it out, whatever it is. And usually it comes pretty quickly, because we only suffer when we avoid things, okay? We only suffer when we avoid things. So put it in front of you. And now I'd like you to lower all of your walls and barriers. And now we're going to end the avoidance, okay? So what I'd like you to do is like you to take all that energy, no matter how big it is, and bring it toward you, bring it toward you, bring it toward you. And just sort of like bring it in and see what happens and let it go through you if it needs to. Did anybody relax? That's what happens when you end the avoidance. So, and here's the funny part about that and so much of everything else we do, it usually happens so fast. But then it happens and you're like, wait a minute, let me figure out what I did. Let me figure out how to do that again. Let me figure it out so I can do it next time. No, you just did it. You can do that at any time. And what I suggested to the 14-day group is every single day, get all that shit you're trying to avoid, lower your walls and barriers, ask to be the infinite you, the being you actually are, and stop avoiding that shit. Just stop avoiding that, bring it on in, and just let it. And you notice once it comes in, you're like, oh my goodness, wow, that wasn't so bad. I thought it was gonna stick me all up and shit and make me constipated and yucky, but it didn't do that at all. I feel pretty good. Oh my goodness, I feel better than I did before. Oh my goodness, wow, I'm less stressed. I feel more present. I feel more happy. I feel like I can create shit. Everything that is, right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shirts, boys and beyonds. So how many of you got more present when you did that? And how freaking cool is that? You took 30 seconds and you've been avoiding it for how many weeks? Oh, isn't it wonderful? Okay, so it's so funny. I love these access tools because that is exactly what will happen, and we'll find a new way of describing something. You're like, God, it changed everything. Thank you so much. And it may or may not have changed everything, but it changed a lot of stuff, didn't it? Way more than you would think it should if you actually did it, if you didn't keep the avoidance in place. Here's the thing though, the avoidance is based on the idea that you have barking dogs in your place. And apparently the dogs like that one too. Apparently they were avoiding something. I don't know, maybe like a cat or food or something important to a dog. Okay, so if you, in order to not avoid though, you have to strap on your big girl panties and your big boy panties. You know what I mean? Like in order to not avoid, you've got to actually go, okay. And what I would do is, okay, I'm going for this, even if it kills me, okay? And lower the walls and barriers and just bring it in. But what you realize once you bring it in, it really has no effect on you. But also this, like everything else, guys, how much of what people are doing out there is trying to avoid and keep all these things out because they don't have the tools to change them that you do. You have bars, you can run bars on yourself, okay? Which is phenomenal, okay? You have bars, you have all these questions, you have POC and POD, you have support in the form of all of these people around the world that are actually saying, yes, I desire something different too. And what if we started allowing that support energetically, realize we don't have to be together in the same room, okay? That support is there now. And that's also an aspect that an infinite being has as their awareness, that there is massive amounts of support from consciousness if you will just ask. And it's one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves is asking and actually allowing that to occur, okay? So can you talk about how this is contributing to awakening others and the fifth dimension grid of oneness is deepening? Okay, the only thing about that is it's not a fifth dimensional grid of oneness. That is metaphysical significance. And anything you make significant sticks you. So what if it's a billionth dimensional possibility rather than a grid? Because when you say fifth dimensional, you're limiting it. When you say grid, you're limiting it. But that's a lot of what we get in metaphysics is an awareness of a possibility that is then limited by the significance that is placed on that possibility. So rather than that, what if you go for the energy you're aware of the oneness that is actually possible? And instead of calling it a fifth dimensional grid, what if you call it opening up to oneness? Like, which is way bigger, oneness or a fifth dimensional grid? Okay, so everything that is times a godzillion, we just run and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. And how is this contributing to awakening others? dynamically so, because the only time people will make a different choice is when they're suffering so much, or when things change so much that they're so uncomfortable that they need to reach outside of this little bubble they've created as their life to look for something else to be able to weather the storm. And we are in the middle of that big time. So guys, realize that, I mean, this has been a reset of the world in a way that will make people seek you out in ways they never have before, because their, what is that, their status quo, their standard operating procedures don't work anymore, and they know it. And the other thing that's going on is they can't distract themselves anymore from the relationships in their life. They can't distract themselves anymore from their points of view. They have to actually sit and live with their points of view and the people in their life and all their stuff. And it's not easy for most people, because most people would much rather be distracted than they would present with their points of view and with the things that they have created and are choosing as their life. So everywhere you've been aware of that, and you've been like angsty, like you've had this angst in your world because you think that applies to you too. What if it didn't? What if you're grateful for this time and its disruption in the status quo and the standard operating procedure? What if you could actually be grateful for it, and grateful for what it's showing you about you, where you still have fixed points of view, and recognize that if you're getting aware of where you have these fixed points of view, and how are you aware of it? Because it feels like it twists your guts or messes with your head or whatever. What if the gift of this is it's making you aware of things you didn't know that you had as points of view that you can now change? Everything that is, everything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive it, we destroy and create it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boy. And here's the other thing is, people do not realize what their fixed points of view are that are limiting them until something comes up and bumps up against them and lights them up. And then they're like, oh my God. Ah. And how do they know they have a fixed point of view? Because they get heavier, they get uncomfortable, they freak out, they don't want to be present, they have all kinds of weird shit going on in their head. That's how you know you have a fixed point of view. What a gift for this time for all these fixed points of view to come up that you have too. And what if you go, hey, here's my new commitment to myself. I'm going to be present with all these fixed points of view and all this stuff. I'm going to bring it in, and then I'm going to work on whatever I need to work on so I never have to be limited by this stuff again. Everything that is, and everything that doesn't allow it, will you destroy and create it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond. So I love it. I just realized I've been struggling with money for ages, and just before quarantine, I created money and I've had total ease. What about acknowledging our creations? Yes, please. Also, run your bars and everyone else is around you. Thank you for that. And the crazy phrase has done a lot. Remember that one? Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. Nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. That one. Okay. Oh, and somebody posted about the truly living with interesting point of view telecalls are amazing. That's another resource you have available. Guys, you have already so many tools to help change this. So one of the things I'd also suggest that you ask yourself is, what tools do I have available to change this that I haven't been acknowledging or using? Okay. What tools do I have available to change this that I haven't been acknowledging or using? Because y'all got a lot of tools, even if the only manual you've seen so far is a bars manual. Okay. Read through it. Whatever you have, what I would do if I were you is I would read through it and look at what pops out at you and is like, use me, use me, use me. Because your energetic awareness is such that things will pop out at you when you ask the question. Hey, ask a question like, hey, what would it take for me to get lighter today? What would it take for me to be able to be happy today? What would it take for me to be able to create money with ease? What would it take for me to change my reality so I'm not the effect of this anymore? And then read through whatever resources you have available, and things will pop out at you because you asked the question that opened up this possibility that wasn't there before you asked the question. And now you're reading it and it's like, oh, that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. What if this is the time you've been asking for to be able to actually be you? Everything that doesn't allow you to perceive no being received, that we destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, beautiful people. I think my part of this conversation is done, and thank you for all the stuff you put in the thread. I'm actually, okay, one thing, let me see. Do I do it or do I don't do it? What will create the most? And here's a question I ask a lot. What will create the most? Or I just go yes or no. Or another great question that I hope you all remember is, if I choose this, what will my life be like in 5 years? If I don't choose this, what will my life be like in 5 years? Okay. So let me see. Okay. Controller ladies of the universe, Pam, Emily, how long was this thing supposed to go? Because with all of our Zooms.
Till now, but we got started a half hour late, so.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Okay, so Pam and Emily, do I do this or not? You tell me, yes or no?
I get a yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. Now, did everybody else see what I did there? Brilliant manipulation. Because if it doesn't work out well, guess whose fault it is now? Not mine. And as a man, I know you must do what women tell you to do. I have learned this after many years of being a man. So everything that brought up for all of you, especially the women who are like, I'm not that way. Not me. But my man better do everything I want. Otherwise, he ain't getting none. No, everything that is, we destroy it and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shirts, boys and beyond. Okay, so I'm going to ask a favor of you. I'm going to ask you to lower all of your walls and barriers, but also I'm going to ask you to lower all of your sense of the need to be right and the need to be wrong. Okay? And also the idea that you are wrong and need to try not to be, or the idea that you are right and need to try not to be. Will you destroy and create all that, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to run this and I'm going to ask you to be as vulnerable with you as you can, please. And we have a ton of messages that I'm not getting through, sorry. So here we go. Maybe I should run it this way. I'm going to try it this way first. There's something we have in Access called the meaning process. So actually, no, I'm going to do the judgment process. They're very similar, okay? So I'd like you to get whatever comes up, and I'd like you to get the ugliest thing that shows up and not hide it from you. Are you ready? Okay, so truth, what's your judgment of Access? And a lot of you are like, I don't have any judgments of Access. Yeah, you do. You just don't recognize it. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, bottom, block, all nine, shorts, boys, men. Jesus Christ, there's a lot of energy on that. How fun. Oh, I love it. This is great. Hopefully we'll be able to actually create some lightness out of it. Because most people have judgment and they try to hide that they have judgment, and then they get tweaked by weird things that they don't understand. And then they walk around sort of tweaked and messed up rather than free to be whatever they actually are. Okay, so what's your judgment of you with regard to Access? Jesus, that's even more intense. Everything that is times a godzillion. And you're creating an Access business? Whew, dear Lord, it would be like working for Coca-Cola and drinking Pepsi. That's weird. Everything that is oh, that's awesome. You're working for consciousness, but you're would rather choose unconsciousness. Oh God, that's awesome. Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroyed and created, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts. Holy shit balls, people. That's got a lot of energy. Wow, that's awesome. Okay, cool. So here's going to be another good one. Thank you, Sarah, for saying thank you for saying yes. Here's going to be another good one. And what this is about is the lower harmonic of receiving. See, receiving should be total, like you can receive anything with no point of view. The lower harmonic of that is something called sex and no sex. It's not exactly copulation, but sex is the one place where you're supposed to receive, and it's the one place you limit receiving here, the energy of sex and no sex. So I'm going to run this, which is the second part of the judgment process, which freaks people out if they don't understand that it's about the energy of receiving, okay? So what's your judgment of sex with Access? Dear Lord. That apparently brings up all those lifetimes in which you were, you know, in sex cults and stuff, and all the lifetimes in which you were a guru and wanted to be a guru, or shagged a guru, or think you should shag the guru, or think that's the valuable product. Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy it and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, you want. Jesus, people. I love it because I just say one word and the weird energies that come up in people's worlds. That is awesome. Okay, let's do it again. Sex, 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 sex. Oh my goodness. Everything that is, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, you want. Yes, Sarah, and everywhere you hid the sex you had with gurus. Uh-huh. You were trying to hide it so bad you put sec instead of sex. Yeah, I get it. Okay. So now, what's your judgment of you with regard to sex with access? And notice your mind can't figure that out, but there's like an energy here. So, ugh. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Boy, oh boy. Okay, so one more time, what's your judgment of access? You're like, oh, thank God for that question. It was far less, you know, bizarre in my world than that one about sex with access. Okay, so what's your judgment of access? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Oh my God, so true. I misidentify consciousness and rightness sometimes. That is so big. Most of us have, because we have lived in a world devoted to right and wrong for so long, that what we do is we think if we're conscious, that means everything we choose is now right. Well, I've done bars, so everything I choose is now right. And then some of you go to, oh, I didn't choose right enough, so now I'm wrong still, even though I should be right with everything I choose. Consciousness and rightness are not the same thing. Consciousness is where every choice is an interesting point of view. It's not right or wrong, even the ones you're trying to make right. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Whew. Yeah, totally getting the not receiving from access. A friend of mine says access. Oh God, my mind couldn't figure it out, but it twists my guts. Yep, true story. Okay, so what is your judgment of you with regard to access? Everything that is, wow, that's an interesting one. Oh, there's a lot of energies that come up, but one of those is sort of that weird, almost like parent-child thing, which is not what it is. We see you as, wow, we see you as a contribution. Like we see us all moving forward together. Some of us are here in certain areas, some of us are here in certain areas, but all being able to uplift each other. But one of the things that occurs is we see you that way. If you're not willing to see you that way, you have to separate from access to make that wrong, to prove that it is not an appropriate way of seeing you. Holy shit. Everything that is, and everywhere we've been separating from access because we actually see you as a contribution, will you destroy and create it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Wow. Okay, so wow, okay, that's wow. Wow, Gary said to me at one point, because we were talking about a couple people I have in my life that care about me really dynamically, and he said, if you're not willing to see in you what they do, you have to separate from them, and you have to create separation from them so you don't receive it. But what you also tend to do is make them wrong more. You either make them wrong or you find some way to create distance from them because you can't see that you could be that. So what is it that access sees you as that you haven't been willing to see you as, and you're blaming access for not seeing you? Because that's the other way it works. Oh, it's fucking brilliant. Oh, I mean, you gotta love this reality, right? It's fucking brilliantly limited, and it has ways of just going back on itself. It's so awesome. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Holy cow. Wow, this may, oh my goodness. Can you just nod your head if this is lightening up your world at all, giving you some more ease? Yeah, cool, awesome. So glad. Oh my goodness. And this is where, like, what we have with access, with us being us, walking present into this conversation. Awesome. Thank you for the yeses. We have this ability to change everything, like the most stuck, yuck, what the fuck stuff. Like we have the ability as us to change this. It's, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Okay, so what is your judgment of sex with access? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And how many of you saw, because this is one of the things that will happen for you as a facilitator. Please remember, one of the most seductive things in the world is when somebody sees you with no judgment. Even if they're not with you in person, okay? When they have that energy of no judgment for you, it's one of the most seductive things in the world. Well, what happens in this reality when somebody sees you with no judgment is what your clients will go to when you see them with no judgment is, oh my God, they're in love with me. Or, oh my God, they want to have sex with me. Or they're in love with me and want to have sex with me and we should be together and have babies and we should create a life together, blah, 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 blah. So to whatever extent people have done that with you as your clients because you weren't in judgment and you didn't understand it, and you separated from being that space because you didn't know what to do, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And this is another big thing that we do is we separate from what we are because we'll be what we are and just so loving it and thinking everybody's going to get it and understand where we're coming from. And then they start, you know, like texting you and stalking you or something. And you're like, dude, okay. And we come to the conclusion, it was me being me that created that. So no, it was them misunderstanding that created that. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, beyonds. Oh my goodness. And do you see how that keeps you from, as a facilitator, keeps you from, if you have the stuck stuff around it, it keeps you from being that and being willing to be that for people. That is the gift that you're here to be, that you being it will change their whole world. And then you start diminishing what you're willing to be, which starts diminishing the people that will want to come to you for what you are being, because that's why they come to you. It's called access, but it's really about what you're being in conjunction with these tools that they can use to be what you be and change what they want to change. Holy shit. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And then Carla said, and then you create enemies to create the separation. Sometimes you create enemies, sometimes you create lovers as exactly the same thing. And so in this reality, this thing we've been talking about, there's very little space. In fact, it's not supposed to exist, where you can be everything you are and see other people as everything they are, and we all become greater as a result. Most people have to put it into some definable category that it actually doesn't fit in, because you, the being that you are, don't fit into a definable category. And then you try to define you to fit, so you know what you're going to have to deal with. And then it feels like you're always in judgment of you for what you're being or what you're not being. And then at the same time, access is seeing you as this thing that is this being. And you're like, no, I tried that. It didn't work out well. Fuck you very much, access. Yeah, I love you, but I don't love you. I've got a love-hate relationship with you now, because I wouldn't have been all this stuff that created all this weird stuff if I hadn't been choosing to be more of me as a result of doing access and knowing that it was possible. So I'm going to separate from you and sort of keep thinking in my head and keep judging things so I can try to figure out a reality that's small enough that I can figure out and control. And then your business goes up and down all the time, and your points of view about you go up and down all the time. And then that joy you used to have and that free, unbridled, childlike enthusiasm for bringing possibilities feels like it has left the building, and you keep calling for it. Hello, possibilities. Hello, childlike wonder. Hello, where are you? Corona. Oh, okay. You know, everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys for the thank yous. I cannot tell you how exciting it is to get to what's actually true with you guys. Is so fucking awesome, because when we do, everything gets lighter for all of us. This is us, guys. This is our world where everything gets lighter for all of us. If we just do not back down, and if we don't have to be right in our point of view and fight for the rightness or the wrongness of our point of view, we together truly walk forward into the world. And then you can also receive from those people who see you as this gift. Like the people that work in the Access Gaggle see you as a gift. And then you can receive that and you're like, oh my God, and it makes you greater. And then you go forward in the world greater. And then people want to be around you because people will come from thousands of miles around to watch you burn with enthusiasm and joy. Everything that is times a godzillion. Everything that doesn't allow it, we destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Whew. So what's your judgment of you with regard to sex with access? Okay, what's your judgment of you with regard to sex with access? Everything that is that's not yours, will you destroy and create it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Whoo. Wow. Okay, so what's your judgment of access? What's your judgment of you with regard to access? So what's your judgment of, okay, everything that is? Wow, how many of you have the point of view that if access saw who you really were, you'd be kicked out? Oh, that's awesome. No, you finally found the one place where weirdos are welcome, okay? We have the Be Different, Stay Weird program for a reason, okay? We want you to be as different as you are, as weird as you are. So everything you've been hiding from being, and everything you've been hiding from access, as though that actually works, as though you could hide from consciousness, okay? And all the weirdness, all the wonderfulness, all the difference, all the possibilities that you've been hiding from access and everybody in it, or everybody you could go to for contribution, will you destroy and uncreate all that, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all shit, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Whoa! Ha! Energy on that one, my friends. Wow, you have been hiding what makes you different, weird, and wonderful from the exact people who would like you to be different, weird, and wonderful. Oh, that's awesome. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds, pot, pock, 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 shorts, boys and beyonds. Wow, okay, cool. So, okay, that's blowing chunks like crazy. Wow, okay, but I also have to acknowledge, okay, a lot of people that are doing access are stuck in a lot of this stuff and a lot of their own other stuff. And so they don't be access very much. Please recognize that, but don't make you wrong if they try to use access against you. Don't make them wrong, but also don't make them right, okay? This is where we've got to be in our awareness. Like the people that are on the gaggle do their damnedest to be there for you, function from as much consciousness is available and be the contribution. And none of us are saying that we're perfect. We know that doesn't exist. It's a huge set of judgment, but there are a lot of people who are doing access without being it very much. What if you could just acknowledge that? And when they say something to you that is invalidative or judgmental, just go, hey, that's where they're coming from. Interesting point of view. And like we talked about, lower your walls and barriers and everything you're doing to resist it, just bring it in and see what happens, okay? Because it's not about we're perfect and they're perfect people and all that. None of us is perfect. I have screwed up more things than most people have ever tried to do, okay? I'm not perfect in any way, but dear Lord, do I have a fun time when I'm being me, okay? And when I'm being me, it's like when I make that choice and when I be that, which is a lot more now than ever before, it's like I'm willing to screw shit up and not have a point of view about it. When you're truly being you, you're willing to screw shit up and not have a point of view about it. And you're like, oh, I fucked that one up really big. That was awesome. Okay, I wonder if I could do it better next time. I wonder if I could fuck it up even better next time. And then the significance comes out of your world. And this is a possibility that is available to us. It's a choice we all have available. So will you allow yourself way more of that now, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Thank you. Is it possible I might contribute a little or a lot of something? Should we be willing to receive some change? Is that a yes? Okay, I'll take that as a yes. Oh, cool, thank you. I see a lot of yeses scrolling. The beauty, the peace of earth the potency, the gentleness, the difference, the beauty, the peace, the potency, the gentleness, the difference of us. Woo! Okay. So what is your, okay, well, apparently that judgment thing is moving on. Bye-bye, judgment. See you later. Go in the way of the corona. Bye-bye. All right. Wow. I believe I can fly. Fuck yes. Yes. Me too. Let us do this thing. And you know, it's interesting how much easier it is to fly when you have people that are supporting your wings on the journey, you know? And that, what if we together just choose that, not from an airy fairy like place of judgment or I did it wrong or I'm not doing enough, but just energetically to truly support each other, to truly support each other's wings in soaring and having and creating and functioning from and living as a different reality that most people don't even yet know can exist. And in fact, we don't even know it can exist. We only know parts of it, and we get to explore it. We get to open up new spaces every single day of a different way of being in the world, interacting in the world, enjoying our lives, enjoying creation, enjoying people, enjoying possibilities. So what beyond this reality, energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities can we be to create a non-reality reality beyond this reality and the rules and regulations thereof with total ease. Everything that doesn't allow it, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9 shirts, boys and beyonds. Okay, my beautiful friends, I thank you so much. I really like, and this is us, really, like, this is us. Your willingness to go hear a different conversation, let shit go, be present. This is us. And this wonderfulness was brought to you by us. Woohoo! And I thank you all so much. I adore you. I'm going to let Pam and Emily have a couple minutes since I took so damn long. And really, thank you all so much. And I look forward to seeing you in person or via Zoom someday soon. Mwah. Bye, beautiful people. Thank you.
Thank you, Dain.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you guys so much. And that was an awesome surprise. We were going to have him come on a little bit, and that was amazing. So we did want to have the Zoom too to answer some of your questions about everything that's changing. We've sent out some emails. Every country is different. We have stuff posted on the Ning, and we can send out a new email with this replay with everything that's changing and the kind of ideas for you guys to create. Pam, did you want to say anything else specifically, or?
Honestly, I have no brain right now.
I know, me too. Basically, if you guys we sent out a video with some clips of Gary Douglas talking about, I know one of the questions a lot of people have been asking is about online possibilities. And very clearly, just because a couple of you guys asked in the chat, bars and body processes cannot be done on a distance. They actually need a body.
The sessions.
The sessions. And then a lot of you guys were asking about bars classes online. And Gary we filmed Gary while he was actually talking about that at the certified facilitator training with his very strong recommendation against it, and also said, you guys will create what you want to create. So Pam and I talked, and if you are choosing that, there are some guidelines we recommended. So you all should have gotten an email with that. It's on the Ning as well. So please look, I think we also posted it in all the facilitator groups, but watch the video with Gary because you get the energy of Gary and what he's aware of with that. Any other questions that you guys have, you can always email bars accessconsciousness.com or customer service at accessconsciousness.com.
Facelift at accessconsciousness.com, bodies at accessconsciousness.com.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like if you have, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to add to that. The other question we're getting a lot is, can body process classes be taught by distance? That is a definite no. So that has not changed. That's something that we'll just wait. We have a lot of different possibilities that we're coming up with of, you know, different license types, what you guys could do. So we'll get an email out about that.
And yes, someone's asking in the chat, you know, there are replay online bars classes that Gary and Dain have done in the past, Brendan has done in the past. People can purchase those in the shop. They just need to have a partner, so like one other person with them, so that you can run bars.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because if you watch the video that that Gary made, and Emily was great and put stuff at the beginning and end about, you know, if you're a bars facilitator and you do choose to do an online bars class, that the people have to be together and have to run bars. You know, you have to have at least 2 people there running bars. So it's the same with the online class in the shop, where it has to be 2 people who say, we're going to do it. So if there's somebody and they're living on their own and there's somewhere that they can't get together, what other tools could you give them? You know, teach them the clearing statement and who does this belong to. All of you can do the Get Your Happy On class online. So that's a great thing. I mean, there's so many tools and they can all be a huge contribution right now. So if one isn't possible because of someone's circumstances, what else have we got? What's in that tool, the Get Your Happy On classes, is amazing. And especially if someone hasn't been exposed to Access yet, it's a great place to start. Let's see. Oh, somebody's asking about the body traits for the online foundation. They actually, they need to find somebody to run the body processes on. So there's more information about that in CF groups. So, and we could just mention the 2 new videos.
Yes, let's do that.
That's so exciting.
We had a great, earlier last year when we were in Costa Rica, we got some great video footage of Dain and Simone and Brendan talking about like congratulating everybody for taking a bars class and then talking about foundation. It's a new video that we'll be sending to you guys to play at the end of bars classes. And it's such an invitation, and it's them saying, yay, you've now become, you know, a bars practitioner. And they also, we have another one created that will be played at the end of foundation classes, also with Gary and Simone, or sorry, Dain and Simone and Brendan, talking about foundation and saying thank you for completing the class, and then inviting them to what's next in Access. So depending on what kind of facilitator you guys are, those are new videos to show at the end of bars classes and the end of foundation. So we'll be sending those to you guys as well. So right now, you know, as the world is very different, there are these different possibilities for you guys. We've sort of summarized them in the groups and emails. I saw someone else ask, can we change the date of bars classes? So it's bars, body process, facelift, that right now you can, and 3-day body, because those classes are in-person body classes with people. So you can change the date without a fee right now up to, is it 90 days out from?
Yeah. So it's for bars, body processes, and facelift, you can just change the date of your class. It's about 90 days out. If you're a CF and you have a foundation and you're trying to make it into an online foundation, there's a whole process for that. And either email the CF Gaggle or customer service and we can help you with that. So Oh, one thing
and
I
then-
wanted to say too. So during the certified facilitator class, people were talking a lot about, you know, what you can or can't do in person in terms of the different restrictions in your community. So David actually wrote up some guidelines for, you know, if you're going to have a bars session or something like that. We've had it translated into, you know, pretty much all the languages that we have facilitators, and if they aren't on your name yet, they will be. And it's going to be like when you go to the homepage, very first thing will say like COVID-19, and it will take you to that. For some languages, actually the certified facilitator languages, we also did a template of a waiver of something you might have somebody sign to, you know, if you were, you know, for them to say, I don't blame you if I get COVID-19 from coming for a bar session or something like that. So, so those are going to be available to you guys as well.
And Sarah was asking for foundation classes. Can we change the date of those too?
Those, we didn't make it that, like, if you have a live class, you can't change the date of that out into the future, but you can convert it to an online class.
And then I'll address this one too, because I've seen it in a lot of chat groups. Can you give us clarity why Gary and Brendan can give an online bars class and facilitators a no?
So if you think about it, they're, you know, we could call them senior facilitators. These are people who have been facilitating classes, large groups, online classes for many, many years. There is a different muscle, different awareness, the ability to actually energetically be with, just as though they were in class, everybody else. So we just had the first ever certified facilitator class online. There was about 400 people on a Zoom like this. It was not easy to be present as a participant in the class. It's a whole different thing facilitating online. And so to facilitate a bars class online effectively, yes, Gary, Simone, Brendan, Dain, they can do it. You know, we're not saying, hey, great, go facilitate bars online, but if you're going to facilitate a class, there's definite things that have to happen for that, but it's highly, highly, highly recommended that you don't. One of the things Gary said to me in conversations about what can be online, what can't, is he said, when you're able to engage in person with someone, that creates. When you go to this, everything's going to be online, that doesn't create so much. So yeah, so what if you ask questions and, you know, be aware of what, like, I know for me, let me back up and just say my own story. For me, when I went to my first bars class, just seeing the facilitator, because they had that kind of where your eyes get so clear and it's like you're present in a whole different way. And being in the energy of the class around other people, my body getting touched, like the energy of that, that is what invited me to keep going and say, whatever this is, I'd like more. If I'd been sitting watching something, I don't know if I would have had the same awareness of what was possible.
Yeah, and if you guys, I put a link in the chat. It's a Google Doc that has all the languages and the English version of that video from Gary about the different, like, facilitating online bars and why he wouldn't recommend it and that you could choose it. And there's also a bit in there too when Brendan talks about when he has done the online bars classes, what a different muscle that is. And if he even checks out for a second, how you lose everybody. So that can kind of give you a little bit of that energy as well. People are asking, and I've seen this in threads too, if our license runs out during the period when we cannot do a class, I'm guessing you mean renewal class, will our licenses be extended?
Or I think they mean when I can't be facilitating because it's bars or something. So
Right.
no, so there's not any exception for the renewal. You can choose to renew your license when it expires. You can choose to wait and renew later, but we're not extending the licenses or waiving the renewal fees. It's just your choice what you'd like to do.
And it's such a great time, you know, Dain was talking about too, is look at what possibilities are available right now, what tools you have that you haven't acknowledged or aren't using, what's possible, because there are these online things you can do, like the Get Your Happy On class. Depending on where you live, a lot of people are still wanting desiring bar sessions. You know, look at what else is possible. Who can you talk to? Who can you call just to connect with that will create your business in the future? So looking at those possibilities it's a great time.
Yeah. Well, and another thing is what if you don't limit yourself to, okay, let me back up. How you be in the world, being an access facilitator is such a difference. And there's facilitating access classes, but there's other things too. Like, you know, I'm having ideas of creating an online coaching course. It won't be access, but everything I do has access in it and invites people to a different possibility. Or, you know, maybe you like cooking and you want to go online and be doing Facebook Lives about cooking, and you're there being a different energy and a different possibility. So that would be another thing, is like, what if we all go way outside the box of what we can create? And that invitation that Dain was, you know, to go out and create in the world in a very different way.
And can I announce the book thing, the intros?
Yeah.
Yeah. So also, you guys are probably aware of, you know, as if you're a bars, body, facelift facilitator, we have created, you know, those intros we have based on books, like how much are you willing to receive? How different are you willing to be? Those ones that have been on the Ning for you. Same as the other kind of, what do you call it, exceptions we're making through May 31st. Those classes, if the book is in your language, you can do those intros online through May 31st as well. So there won't be a different class listing, but you can choose to offer that online as a special thing too. So the book still needs to be in your language. You can find all of that information on the Ning. There's graphics, there's a little mini manual that goes with each book. So that's another thing we wanted to open up to you guys through May 31st, to be able to do online. Normally those are in person, but you can do those online. You can post them. And that's another option for you guys. Yes, to clarify, I see a lot of people asking about the bars online class from the shop. Yes, you require another paying person to do the class with. That's how you need to purchase it through the shop, like someone else who desires to take the bars class, not just a head in the room to run bars.
Yeah, and to be able to be together to run bars as you watch the class. And if you have a 12-year-old kid in your house and they're interested in doing the class and being there and running bars and things, children 15 and under are free, so that child would not need to pay for the class, but you would still email customer service and say, hey, I want to buy the shop product and have my child who's fit, you know, like we'll work with you on that. But think of it as, I mean, bars without another body there running bars, like it's a I'm touching you process. Now, I also want to say, because we often talk about someone has ADHD or autism, you can run bars off the head. Your energetic fingers extend. So if I'm running someone's bars not touching their head, that's still two bodies interacting. Or if I don't have the use of my hand and my, you know, I have, you know, one hand nearby, like that's a different thing. We're talking about when you're not in the same room, it's not running bars. But those guidelines of how you can have two people together to run bars is something that you could look at for that.
Yeah. So no matter what kind of facilitator you are, because I saw someone saying, oh, I just became a facelift facilitator and now I can't do facelift. Yeah. But you could offer sessions depending on where you live if people are coming. You know, Pam mentioned that we are going to have that waiver in different languages that people can sign. Ways you can do classes if that works where you live. Mm-hmm. And then there are these intros. Yeah.
I was going to say, you do have to be aware of the rules where you are and look at that and look at the suggestions and choose. So, yeah.
Cool. And so what you guys do have, though, also are these online options. So no matter what type of facilitator you are, from bars and up, you can do the 4 tools to get your happy on. There's a whole explanation of that class and how you could choose to facilitate it, example tools to use. It's on the Ning. And you could choose to facilitate it any way you like. The intro classes with books, if they're in your language, are options. If you've done a choice of possibilities class, you are what's called a CFMW, and you can do online intros on any topic too. Yeah. CFs have the online foundation option right now. And please watch that video with Gary about the possibility of doing an online bars class. Someone else asked about online bars for kids. His awareness of future and what that creates, you just want to tap into that energy before you choose that, because we're looking at what's going to create your business in the future and for you, not just like in the now.
So, and one person's asking if CFs can teach the body processes in a foundation class. Can body process online? Can body process facilitators teach body processes online? That's no, because so foundation, it's not about teaching the processes. It's the foundation class is a 4-day class of all kinds of things, and the body processes is a part of it. And actually the CFs, you know, they're not teaching the body process online. They're saying, here's how to run it, go find somebody and do it. That's a very different thing than a body process class, which is about the body processes and the 2 bodies trading the process. So, so just to be really clear, there are no body process classes online and no sessions of body processes or bars online. Gary said it doesn't work. Running bars by distance doesn't work. Anyone who's saying it does, that it's not true. You know, I've heard of people like trying to do online bars trades. You know, it doesn't work. Please don't do it, and don't, as somebody representing access out in the world, please don't say it works. It's just not available right now.
As David Cubis, our lawyer, very funnily put in a chat where people were asking about bars in person, he's like, some things just take 2 bodies being together. He's like, try to get pregnant without 2 bodies being together. So you need the bodies present.
Yeah. And somebody's asking, you know, with what I was just saying about body processes, so how is it we can do bars online? Well, if you watch Gary's video, he's really telling you it doesn't create. And, you know, we are allowing you to do it if you choose. And I think if you watch the video, you won't be choosing it. So.
And for all of the information, you guys, about the intros online, if you go to the Ning, there's a little sub drop down menu on intros to facilitate where you could find all the information. It's new that you guys can facilitate those online. Just know that's a possibility. If you have
through May 31st.
Yep, through May 31st. And if you guys have taken a choice of possibilities class ever in live or online, join it's called CFMW Facebook group. Because there we've been giving more information and having Zooms about the possibility of online intros, because it's pretty free range of what you can create as a one-time online intro after you've done a COP. But that way there's a whole group where we can answer questions and support you. And you guys can always write to customer service at accessconsciousness.com too, or to any of the facilitator emails. But really do look on the Ning and look at because all the information is there, or post questions, use the Facebook groups and things like that.
And I know it can be like, oh, here's things I was doing that I can't do. And again, this is like what Dain was talking about. You can go to like, oh, I'm losing out or whatever, or ask like, okay, so what else is possible? What can I create? For me, I've been too busy to facilitate much the last few years. You know, I would like think, oh, I'd like to facilitate a class, and I'd put it on my calendar and never tell anyone and never actually create it. And what I'm finding is with the space of all the things I usually am doing, but that I'm not doing, I'm actually taking the steps to create what's going to allow me to facilitate classes again. So what's available and possible for you with all of this? You know, if you come out of the point of view about what's not there or what you can't do or what's, you know, whatever that stuff is, just trying to create it times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds, and what is possible and what would I like to create?
Yes, and people are asking about the facelift class. If you guys were registered for that class and haven't heard, that online facelift class that was going to be a part of the new prereqs to become a facelift facilitator or renew, that class has been canceled for the moment. So there will not be that facelift class with Shannon O'Hara and Grace Douglas. And we're looking at a new date later in the year, but that hasn't been chosen yet. So at the moment, it's not relevant to renewing or becoming a facelift facilitator either. Yeah. That's just postponed. And
there's an email somewhere in the process of being translated and sent out about that. But basically, you know, so if you're a facelift facilitator and your renewal's coming up soon, it'll be the usual, you know, what we had before, which is take a renewal class, pay the license fee, and you're renewed. And then, you know, whenever that class gets rescheduled, we'll do a look at what that means in terms of licensing.
Cool. And someone is asking for the CFMW Facebook group link. If someone could put that in for me, that would be wonderful. Betsy or anyone, if you have that easy.
Cassie's on it.
Oh, thank you. You guys are wonderful. And Julie, did we address your questions? I was trying to, I think you recopied them in there. Thank you guys for all the gratitude. And thank you for all of you guys and what you're creating and looking for possibilities and asking questions. I get there's been a lot of changes and a lot of information. So yeah, you guys are great.
And thank you to the translators who've now been going for about an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you. Sorry. So, yeah, so if you guys have questions about how to buy the bars class from the shop, if you go to the shop page, it gives you directions. You enter your partner's name who's purchasing and they put yours, and then they can buy them.
And you can email customer service and they'll help you out too.
So we will see you guys soon. We'll make sure this replay will be sent out by email. We'll put it in the Facebook groups and it'll go on the Nings. And if you have questions, email customer service at accessconsciousness.com and use the facilitator Facebook groups too as places to ask questions as well, because you can get a lot of info there as well.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for sticking with us as we jumped on to 3 different Zooms.
I know. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.